Good morning, all, and just before starting of the session, that we will go through what we have seen, so far about this management ethics and entrepreneurs development. See, the very first class we have seen about the management functions, schools of thoughts like behavioral schools of thought, decision making school of thoughts, and then mathematical school of thoughts. And then we also studied about the planning, organizing, and staffing, and planning, thinking in advance, and organizing. We have seen various organizational structure, how to organize things. It's organizing, it's a quality is required to put things in order, right? So that we have seen. And organization structure, we have seen line structure, line and staff structure, functional, project, matrix, like that we have seen. And then while moving on to the staffing function, it's to deal with the human resources within the organization. And we have seen the difference between personal management and human resource management. Personal management started from the old schools of thoughts of handling human behavior, where it was treating human behavior equal to the machines. And with respect to human resource management, it's competency management, right? Talent management, that's what we have seen. And the functions of human resource management is broader. That means managerial functional, operational functional, advisory functional. It's a combination of management functions like a planning, organizing, directing, coordinating, controlling. And along with that, here developmental functions like recruitment, selection, training and development, and performance appraisal, like that. And then we moved on to directing. We have seen four components of directing includes motivating, leadership, communication, and supervising. And then while moving on to the coordination, we have seen coordination basically unites all the labors, man, machine, material, and all other functions of the organization towards achievement of the common goal. And directing, we have seen directing and planning are the twins of the twins functions of the organization. CMIs functions of the organization. What is the difference? Planning, thinking ahead, and controlling, going backward, right? One is ahead and one is backward. So that is why it is called as a two important thing. And then we have also seen about the function techniques of controlling, including traditional technique and modern non-traditional or modern techniques. And then we moved on to human resource management, that was also included in that. And then business ethics, right? Business ethics, what basically talks about business ethics, the term itself came from the word ethos. In Latin, ethos means behavior, culture, right, attitude, that kind of things. What one person believe morally right in a wrong with respect to doing or activity, right, performance. So that is what we have seen. And then we have seen what is the relationship between ethics with respect to organization which follows the ethics, then they can maximize their business. They can win over the confidence of the customers and suppliers and all other things. And in a long run, the organization can sustain. So that is what we have seen. And we have seen types of ethics, characteristics of ethics, right? And then techniques of ethics, how techniques can be ethics can be implemented by way of, by starting up code of conduct, and then ethical committee at top level management, and ethical management committee, and then monitoring, penalizing, right, reward functions, like that we have seen with respect to ethics. And then while moving on to the communication, we have seen what is a communication. There are two types of communication, came from the word Latin word communis and communicare. Communicare means to impart or to learn, and then communis means to learn or participate. And then while moving on to types of communication, verbal communication, non-verbal communication. Verbal communication include audio, that is oral, written, audio, video. That is what we have seen. And in the case of non-verbal communication, other than verbal communication, anything which express silence, blinking, everything includes means of communication. There we have seen what are the advantages and disadvantages of each and every aspects of verbal and non-verbal communication. And then we have also seen about the process of communication. Process of communication includes how sender sends a message through encoding and through channel, that how they are sending the messages to the receiver, and after receiving the message, and what is the role of receiver with respect to decoding, and that is what we have seen in the case of feedback. And here two things is very important. Repeatedly they are asking the question, that is, what is noise? Noise is a distraction of converting the messages received by the sender to the receiver. That is a noise. And what is the feedback? And after sending the messages, the receiver feedback, receiver perception about the messages, understanding about the messages, that is what is the feedback, which goes back to the sender. And then we have also seen about the principles of the communication. Communication, when you send it, it should be clear, precise, and complete message should be there. So that is what we have also have to have a courtesy that we have seen. And then while coming to types of communication, we have seen internal communication, external communication. Internal communication includes within the organization, external communication includes outside the organization. Internal communication, we have formal communication, informal communication. Formal communication includes vertical, that is upward or a downward communication, and horizontal communication between the department or among the employees. That is what we have seen. And then barriers of communication, we have seen barriers of communication. What happened most of the time, when you are not clear, loud, when you don't use proper technological aspects, then you have a problem. So that we have to see. And then when it comes to effective communication, whatever techniques that whatever methods that you adopt to overcome the barriers, that is called effective communication. And we have also seen about Johari window, right? What is a Johari window? I also told you in your book, one not word is not mentioned, so you please correct that this thing. And you can also Google it, the Johari window picture is there, you can go in an image. And Johari window is basically human interaction or relationship with themselves and others, right? How we interact with humans, right? That is what. And many a times it's very much helpful to pick up our own career, and even with respect to start up a business, to start preparing for the examination, we can know. So what we can say is that what I know about myself and what people know about myself, what I do not know about myself and what people do not know about my character, attitude, like that. So that is what is their interaction. And here there are four windows, four parts in a window. So that is what, and it is named after Johari, who are the authors of this theory, right? So, and then last class what we have seen, enriching vocabulary. So I'll just go through, because last time we had a lot of. Am I audible now, Vanshika Agarwal? I hope now I am holding this, and then I hope it is audible to you. And then enriching vocabulary, we have seen about to enrich vocabulary, we have to have we should know exact. No, no, Iba, I'm just telling you what had happened last classes. So this is today's class. So I am not changing the slide. I'm just going through what had happened over a period of time, just to to have a recap. That is what. And usually I do this to have to process your mind. Otherwise, no, you'll forget. So that is why. Am I audible to everyone? Samarth Mathur is telling that my voice is breaking. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So we'll go in vocabulary. What we should know exact meaning for the word, and then we should have a range of vocabulary, that as we grow we should know more and more vocabulary, which will be easy for us to communicate. So that is very important. And it is not only the vocabulary, and it is not only the meaning, and we should also know where to use it. Many a times what happens, we know the words and we don't know exactly where to use it, right? So that is very important. And enriching vocabulary, what are the things we should know about it? And we should know choice of words, that is range of words, and where to use meaning, and exact place to use it. That is very important. And then we also should know what is homonyms. Homonyms, what happened, which pronounce or the words similarity is there, but meaning is completely different. So like example, access, birth, birth, right? And then check, check. These are the examples that we have seen in the previous classes. And then synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms gives a similar meaning for a particular word, and antonyms gives the opposite meaning for a particular word. And there are multiple words for synonyms as well as antonyms for a single word. And then single word for group of words. You know what happened, writing about one's own biography. We used to have an example of autobiography, right? My personal life, and I'm writing this group of word, we can convert into a single word by replacing a word called autobiography, right? So these are the things that we should know about it. And choice of word and all we have seen, homonyms, synonyms, and antonyms, and a single word for a group of words that we have seen. And then we have also seen about parts of speech. So parts of speech, we have seen noun and pronoun. So noun is naming something, and pronoun talks about used in the place of nouns, like in the case of personal noun, I, you, we, like that. And in the case of relative nouns, whom, right, whom, which, that, etc. And in the case of possessive pronouns, ours, yours, theirs, like that. So these are the things. So so pronouns are used in the place of noun, and nouns are to use some names, naming something like Rahul, bank, dog, you know, those kind of things. Again, you have a types that we have seen. And what is adjective? Adjectives are used to describe a noun. Adjectives are used to announce how good he is, very good, clever, right? How many books he had given to you, how was the class? The class was very nice, right? And it was informative. So adjective to use to describe something, right? Something and someone. So that is what is adjective. And what is verb? Verb means word. And then and basically verb tells action of a person or a thing, right? And then what is done to a person, right? Rahul was beaten, right? These are the verb. And what is adverb? As we have seen, adjective qualify or add to the meaning of the nouns. And in the case of adverbs, adverbs changes or modify the verb, including nouns, adverb, adjectives, etc. Right? What is preposition? Preposition talks about on, at, above, like that. So where the things are, right? So that is what it talks about. What is conjunction? Conjunction is used to connect two words, right? And but, right? These are the connections. Like it helps to continue the sentence. So that is very useful. And what is interjection? Interjections is used to express the feeling, and it might not be the part of grammar, but it is used to express the one's feelings. And there are types of voice. We have seen active voice and passive voice. Active voice are simple and simple, easy to understand. And active voice is very simply says that what the person is doing, and we don't give much importance to the activity, but we give importance to the person who perform. But in the case of passive voice, your passive voice is usually used for the indirect way of expressing something, and mostly it is used in the legal drafting. That is what we have seen. And then here in the case of indirect or a passive voice, we give more importance to the action done by whom. That is what we have seen. And then we have also seen what is article. Article means A and D. So that is what we have seen. Article, there are two types of article. One is definite article, and other one is indefinite article. Definite article talks about the. When you specifically said a particular person, then we use the word the, and in all other cases we use a general term A and N. So that is what we have seen. And a usage also, we should remember that depending on the usage, the words keep changing and pronunciation keep changing, and terms also keep changing. So that also we have to remember. And tenses, we have seen in a Latin word tempus means time. And then here there are three types of tenses, and present, past, and future tenses. And there are four models: simple, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous examples that we have seen. And then sentence construction we have seen. And sentence construction, a sentence is a combination of subject and predicate. So what is a subject? Subject which names the person or a thing we are speaking about. And what is predicate? Predicate tells something about the subject. Something which explain about the subject is called as a predicate. And what is a clause? Clause is a combination of a subject as well as predicate. There are two types of clauses. One is principal clause or an independent clause, which you don't need to give any explanation. Independent clause means when you tell something and it is understood by the term itself. You don't need to give any explanation. You don't need to see the previous sentences. And in the case of dependent class or subordinate class, it is depending on the independent class. Say for example, he has lost the pen that I had given to him. So in this case, the first sentence, that is he has lost the pen, that itself is understand who is given to whom and what he has done, what he lost, what had happened. So everything is given in the first sentence itself. In the case of dependent clause, I had given to him, here what is missing? What I had given to him, what happened to that thing which I had given is missing. That is why it is called as a dependent clause or subordinate clause. And what are the types of sentences? Types of sentences, there are three types of sentences: simple, compound, and complex. What is simple sentence? Simple sentence has a verb and a one only independent clause, main clause. And what is compound clause? When you have one or more than one compound clause, more than one principal clauses, then it is called as a compound. And what is complex? Complex sentence has one independent clause and one or more uh, Dipali Singh, I think most of the people can see the screen, and if you have any problem, please take care of your technical thing and come back to me, because I think most of the people can look at my screen. And when it comes to complex sentence which has one independent class and one or more subordinate, two or more subordinate class, is called as complex sentence. And we have seen about the noun pronoun, how to construct the sentences. We all know about it, subject plus verb plus objectives. Shruti, what happened? No, but I'm sharing, my screen is sharing. Is it a problem to everyone? My screen is visible. We are taking too long for the revision. My screen is not seen now. Sometime it search screen. Yes, yes. That's fine. So it's not seen to some technical work and work. And then article usage that we have seen. And then while coming to the yes, sentence construction, we should know three things that what are the things? Subject, verb, and object. That these are the three important things that we should remember. And spelling and pronunciation, we have seen about the syllable. What is the syllable? And number of article sounds in a word. So we saw the examples of one syllable, two syllable, and four syllable, like that. Fame is only one word and only one article is pronounced fame. And in the case of address, add a is there and dress e is there. So how the number of vowels sounds repeated, how many times it's repeated, that is what we call it as a syllable. And we have also seen about the prefixes. Most of the people got a confusion with respect to prefix of two examples: derivative prefix and derivative prefix. Very simple. And derivative means something which is derived its value or re-derived is called as a derivative prefix. So for, say for example, defrost, right? Defrost was what happened. So can you please explain the previous slide? Previous slide means what? Previous slide, I have not even opened the slide. This is the first slide. I am only Priyanka. What happened? Disconnected. Am I visible to everyone? I hope my screen is visible to everyone. 1 minute. So can you please explain the previous slide once again? What is the previous slide? Not slide. Am I audible to everyone? Because my connection got distracted. Hello? Hello everyone. Am I audible? Can I go ahead? Hi all. Can you hear? Can you see my slides? Or not changing. Okay, that's fine. Okay. I think I have some internet issues. That's why I okay, that's fine. If she okay, that's fine. We'll go ahead with derivative prefix. That's a derivative prefix means I told you derivative means what, which is derived. So defrost, what happened? We have I gave you the example of when you want something in a water, ice cubes in a sorry, ice cubes in a glass. Then to redo the things, right? So you have to derive that value. Then so that is of derivative prefix. So defrost is the best example that we have seen, and then pejorative contempt, disapproval, not or when you do something objective, or when you do something opposition, then it is called as a example. We have seen the mistake. If we do somebody has done a mistake, so that is what is called as a misspell and misspell, and then mismanage. And so these are the example that we have seen. And in the case of suffixes which comes now am I audible? Your voice is breaking. 1 minute. 1 minute. I'll just try to do some. Yeah, I have changed the network now. I think it will come properly. Am I audible now? My voice? Okay, I'll continue. I hope Megan, Sejal, Aishwarya, Sangamitra, Sahu, and everybody, I hope it is audible. Right. And then now punctuation we have seen. We have also seen idioms, phrase, and proverb. What is the idioms? Idioms is a saying. It's a saying, and it itself is a phrase. And a phrase is some can be anything. And proverb means it's a saying or a phrase, right? And then am I still my voice is okay? Foreign words we have seen. What is a foreign word? English has also borrowed foreign words like a German word, Latin word, etc., French word like that. And then we have seen about the business correspondence. Hi, Megan, am I audible? My voice is okay. Okay, that's fine. My voice is breaking. Okay. You want me? Okay. Is it my voice is breaking to everyone? Because my now I have a perfect internet because I have moved my okay. So now I can hear. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So now business correspondence. You know what happened when a correspondence? No, it is clear. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now I'll tell you, because I hope it will be all right, Mrudul Nair, because I have changed my connectivity internet service provider. I have changed it from Vodafone to Airtel. Now let's see about the business correspondence. We have to go through a lot of things. I have to then talk about this one. So I'll go through fast, quickly. So business correspondence, basically it is developed from the communication. So what is the communication? Communication means to share, to impart something from one person to another person. So that is what sharing and imparting information, that is what is a communication. How this communication is used in the business, so that is what is a business communication. So business communication basically talks about, it is minimum 2% is, it should be there, and it is a continuous process. And here there are basic characteristics we have seen, when you write a letter or draft a mail and all, what are the things you should do and you should not do, that what we have to remember. And part of business letter, that you should know heading, subject, and then references, etc. And then we have seen parts of business correspondence. We have seen human resource correspondence, production or purchase correspondence, and then marketing or sales correspondence, and tax correspondence, income tax and all those things, excise. And then when it comes to what you call insurance correspondence, banking correspondence, and then provident fund correspondence, etc. we have seen. And then when it comes to what are the things we have seen, application letter, we have seen the difference with application letter and sales letter are similar, that I told you. We have also I meant your voice is clear now. Oh, okay, that's fine, thank you. Uh, we have also seen in the previous class question paper that application letter and sales letter are same, because both express and exhibit one's talent and a characteristics and a special features. So application letter in a human resource correspondence and sales letter in marketing correspondence are one and the same, where they give features about a product, features about one qualification to get for the job or to sell the product. And then we have also seen about the difference between biodata, resume, and curriculum vitae. Biodata basically a bullet points thing, a maximum of 1 page, and resume ranging from 1 page to 3 pages, which gives little elaborative. But curriculum vitae gives you a detailed information about the qualification and where that qualification was obtained and what is the mark, etc. And when you talk about experiences, and they don't talk in the case of biodata, they give you only how many years of experience, and in the case of resume, where you got that experience, and in the case of curriculum vitae, what are the duties and responsibility and functions performed by you will be given in the case of curriculum vitae. So that is what we have seen. And then we have seen a lot of letters like goodwill letters, especially thank you letter, congratulation letter, letter of sympathy. And we have seen a difference between thoda Hindi use karo. I don't know Hindi. I'm so sorry, Deepali Singh. And we have seen the difference between condolence letter, obituary letter. So obituary letter, when somebody died from the employee letter, that information is disseminated to the related party, is called as a obituary letter and notices. And what is condolence letter? Condolence letter is general people, employee side, giving condolence to the party, right, deceased family, right. That is what we have seen. And acknowledgement cards is very, very important in correspondence, because anything you receive, say for example, you are a company secretary, some company comes and deposits a check to you, or some information they are giving to you, like some board minutes, certified true copy, etc. So that are the things that we should remember. So those are the things called as where I was, acknowledgement cards. So you have to give acknowledgement cards, that providing proof that what we have received, when we have received, like that. And in the case of purchase condolence, we have seen about the difference between inquiry and inquiry. Yes. 1 minute. Yes. I am in a meeting. I'm speaking. Oh, I will see. I'm so sorry for the disturbance, some distraction from the house. Okay, homonyms, I'll tell you. Where were we? Let me tell you. Oh. because 4 hour 4 session that I have to resume, it's little let's go about the inquiry and inquiry about the investigation about the party who got affected or party who is involved directly. And what is inquiry? Inquiry is only getting information, searching for the information is the inquiry. And then when we industrial inquiry is most important element that we have to remember, that they used to get information. So technical jargons, I told you, technical jargon, industry specific words, we have to use it when while drafting industrial inquiries. And what are the replies? That every letter and everything what you receive, you have to give prompt replies without delay. And we have also seen about the difference between yes, Samarth Mathur, I'll tell you, let me complete this, then I'll come back to you, because we have to see today's class also. Estimates and quotation, estimates and quotation. Estimates are used for services, right? When air conditioned services is there, so then we use any service related thing that we use the term estimate. And in case of purchase of goods and goods, we use quotation. And what is tender notices? Tender notices are used invitation to submit bids to participate in a purchase or service of purchase of goods or services. And we have also seen about placing orders, we have seen making complaints and all these very common things we have used. And in the case of sales correspondence, we have seen sales letter and sales circular. The difference between these two are sales letter is used to a specific person, sales circular is a drafted to a group of people, large number of people. And accounts correspondence, we have seen what is the invoice. Invoice is used for, invoice will give you detailed information about the product which you are purchasing, quality, number, amount, tax, including tax. But delivery challans are issued from the store side, which are in addition to or an additional attachment to the invoice. And statement of accounts we have seen. And credit debit note, many people had also asked for the doubt. And what is a credit note and debit note? Debit note is used for purchase return and which reduces the receivables, then it is called as a debit note. And what is a credit note? Credit notes are used for the sales return and which reduces the payable, right? So that is the main difference between these two, and that much is enough. And banking correspondence, we have seen insurance correspondence and all, no, anything provident fund. So anything you for account opening, any clarification, in case of insurance, premium calculation, how to draft that letter and all the details, draft letter is given in your book at the end of the book. And we have also seen what is the internal communication within the organization, right? That is what we have seen. And we have seen what is the difference between we have seen abstract. I'll give you the difference between memorandum, office circular, office orders, and office notices, right? So what is a memorandum? Memorandum, anything which is circulated or distributed between or among the departments in writing. So memorandum itself says that something in writing, that exchange between two parties is called as a memorandum. And what is office order? Office order is applicable to everybody, is something about rights and duties of the employee, which is circulated throughout the organization, is called as an office order. Say for example, change in the working hours, so we give by way of office orders, right? This office order is circulated, that working hour from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock shifted. So that information is order, is a rule kind of thing. And what is office circular? Office circular is a memorandum which is distributed to large number of people, is called as an office circular. And what is office notices? Office notices are information, dissemination of information provided to the particular office. And what is office notes? Office notes are exchanged between two different departments. And representation to the management means when any employee who got affected by the circular or a notice or any activity of the management with respect to amalgamation or with respect to compensation, with respect to training and development, or any new change that had taken place within the organization, then the employee go and give representation to the management. And then same thing we have also seen about the correspondence with a branch and branch offices and regional offices and head offices, that also we have seen. And we have seen e-correspondence. E-correspondence, we have seen what is the features of email. Email means what? electronic communication, that is what we have seen. And then electronic mail system features, we have also seen etiquettes of the email. Etiquette means what? You have to respond, you have to keep your words properly, and mind your manners, and the words and the tone, and to whom you represent. And you also, they have mentioned about, you have to keep deleting, respond promptly. These are the things we have seen. And then we have also seen about the advantages and disadvantages of the email system. And we moved on to intranet. What is intranet? Intranet means a network system which is used within the organization. And intranet is a very useful method which used for effective communication, because without internet also, people, human resources within the organization can manage with the help of intranet. And intranet has a lot of advantage over the email, because it prompt the employees and disseminate the information very well. So this is what we have seen so far in the last 4 classes. And Samarth Mathur, what is homonyms? Homonyms means which has a similar sound or pronunciation, but the meaning of the word, both the words, are very different. The best example we can say is that check and check. One, a CK ends, talks about verification. QEUE talks about check leaf used in a bank. So that is what homonyms. And you can also go through the books, a lot of examples are there. Now we have come to the 5th day class, which talks about entrepreneur. So what is entrepreneur? The term entrepreneur came from the French word entreprendre. Entreprendre. So which means to undertake. In French, entreprendre means to undertake. So in a business context, it means to undertake a business activity, or simply to start up a business. So that is how the entrepreneur term came into existence. But according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, one who organizes, manages, and assumes the risk of a business or an enterprise. So here, yes, self-started. You rightly said, Mrudul Nair. So self-started. So here, what happened according to the dictionary, Merriam-Webster dictionary? See, we have seen management. Management means what? To plan, organize, directing, controlling. That is what we have seen. So the same thing. Every process with a risk and innovation. If somebody startup, then that person is called as an entrepreneur. According to Cantillon, one of the classes of the landowners who are financially independent. So the very basic criteria for the entrepreneur, they are self-independent. Financially, they are independent, and they are innovative, they are risk taker, and they take the responsibility. So from this, we can make out what are the characteristics of entrepreneur. And we should know the difference between entrepreneur, entrepreneurship, and enterprise. So aristocrat means, I will tell you when last session, Ayushi, aristocrat, technology based, aristocrat, craft means aristocrat is basically technical based things, right? And then what is the difference between entrepreneur, entrepreneurship, and enterprise? Entrepreneur is a person, and entrepreneurship is a process, right? And then enterprise is a unit or entity which is created to process the entrepreneurship, that is process the activity by the entrepreneur. I hope everyone understand about the difference between entrepreneur, entrepreneurship, and enterprise. Entrepreneur is a person, and entrepreneurship is an activity or a process done by the entrepreneur. Enterprise is an entity in which entrepreneurship is taken care, right, by the entrepreneur. So basic difference is also seen here. Entrepreneur is a person who bears the risk, combines various factors of production, land, labor, machine, right, and then brings new ideas and carries out creative innovation. So far what we are repeatedly hearing, entrepreneur should be an innovative person, right? Innovative means what is existing product, existing service is there some innovation comes and you become rich. So something you makes other people, consumer, feel more comfort and easy than that entrepreneur. What is entrepreneurship? Is a set of activity performed by an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is an individual and responsible for identifying a business opportunity and taking it from idea to implementation. But entrepreneurship, it is a process involving various actions to be undertaken to establish enterprise, it involves multi-pronged activity. He is taking, but there are multiple activity like organizing he has to do, and planning he has to do, implementation he has to do, control activity he has to get the finance, how to get the finance. So all the activities are involved in the case of entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurs are a tangible person you can see physically, but entrepreneurship is a abstraction. It's only an activity you cannot see, it only is felt. He's an individual or one of a group of the individual who try to create something new. Entrepreneurship process, an entrepreneur identifies opportunities, organize all resources, and find new market to foothold in the market and attain for long-term gains. It is an attempt to create value. And what is so now so far what we have seen, how the term evolved, from where it evolved, and then what are the characteristics, between that is difference between entrepreneurship and enterprise. That is what we have also seen. And there is one more term that which is not mentioned in your book: intrapreneur. What is who is an intrapreneur? Intrapreneur is a person who is already working in the organization, who takes up additional work by using innovations and shortcuts to achieve the organization goals, right? So shortcuts means in a right way, in a right sense. So intrapreneurs are employees, already an employee, who take additional work. So that they are called as a intrapreneur, not in, right? Not en. Entrepreneur and intrapreneur. Intrapreneurs are existing employee who is working or who is taking additional responsibility of innovation. And entrepreneur, he himself is a boss and he is everything for an enterprise. And what are the elements of entrepreneurship? So we have seen so far what are the things are required. So first and foremost thing is he should have innovation. Innovation means what? Creative thinking and modification of something in existence, right? And then we also should he also should take the risk. What is the risk? When you invent something and you're reaching to the customer, and if something bad happens, and that risk he is taking, risk of loss, right? Risk of unreachable, right? Risk of non-marketability. So these are all called the risk taking. And what is a visionary? An entrepreneur is always a visionary, and so enterprise should have a vision. Vision means what are we going to do? What is the organization goal? What is the organization vision, mission? So how are we going to reach, right? What are the ways in which we are going to reach? So those are the things are comes under vision. And what is the organization skill? Organization skills include supervision, leadership, motivation, communication. Those are the things, right? On the, that is getting things done to others. So that are the things, organizing skills. And what are the traits? What do you mean by traits? Traits are the qualification or the quality of a personality, or the characters. So from this, no, the four thing what we have seen in the previous slides are there. That is innovative, risk taker, that is visionary, and then organization skill, right? Yes, characteristics, right? Characteristics, quality, qualification, or a quality we can say. And the except those red things I have highlighted in a red one, highlighted, which we have already seen. Other than that, we can see that what are the characteristics. An entrepreneur should develop his own enterprise, right? So then only he is called as a entrepreneur, because we have seen in the previous slide, relationship between entrepreneurship and enterprise. And risk taker and innovative, we have seen deviant pursuit. Deviant means what? Deviation in changes, adopting to the changes, right? When technical changes, when technical change takes place, or when we have corona, right? So in this, what is adopting to the technological changes, adopting to any kind of changes, is called a deviant pursuits. And he is always independent, not only financial independent, he's independent of the old, right? So he takes his own decision and tries something better. He always innovation, it's always he tries to do something better, right? In what way, we can the best example we can say, in what way we can reduce the cost of the product. How can you reduce the cost of the product? By maximizing the production capacity, we can reduce the price. How we can reduce it? By maximizing the supply capacity production. What happen? Our fixed expenses becomes common, and then we can reduce the expenses, we can reduce the price of the product. And dissatisfied with routine activity, the most of the entrepreneurs, they don't want to be idle, they don't want to do the same work what other people are doing. They want to be unique, they want to be different from the other person. That is why they are, they are, once you are dissatisfied with your routine work, there are most of the people who study after 12, they go and do BCom or a BCom with specialization. But some of the people who are unique, they are dissatisfied with the routine work. Everybody doing BCom. I want to be unique, and that's why I'm doing CS course. Those things are, they don't do routine work and withstand the hard life. And entrepreneur, they don't just give up things. They withstand the hard life, and whatever problem come, they face it and determined, but passionate. They are very particular about their passion. And then a sense of competitiveness. They always think about, when I take some action, and they also think about competitiveness in the market and the competitors action for reaction to our action. Say for example, fixing prices. When I'm reducing the prices of a particular price, right, I'm starting a skimming price, or other pricing, then what will be the reaction of the the competitor? And then takes a personal responsibility. See, we have seen independent, with respect to independent characteristics. He takes all the he is independent person, so anything comes, he takes a personal responsibility. And then persist in the face of adversity, right? So in case of any adverse things, that is, we have seen in the case of risk taker. And when there is any adverse things happen, then he faces the adverse things, and then he also takes necessary action in the case of opposite reactions, with respect to nature, with respect to competitor, with respect to supplier, any kind of situation he faces. And he is always opportunity. He always search for the opportunity. If there is any opportunity is there, he try to take advantage of the opportunity. And then so now, by this time, now, what is the characteristics of an entrepreneur is required mental ability, because with respect to decision making, with the right or wrong, and then with withstand with the to cope up with the changes, and to withstand the hard things, those are the things. And entrepreneurs should keep business secrets, secretary, or a business, they are also called as a business secretary, or they keep the business secrets. I also told you in the previous class, who is in the beginning, I think I told you, who is the secretary. The company secretary term itself came, one who keep the secrets, right? So that is why they are called as a secretary. That is how the term secretary came into existence. So the business secretary, they keep all the secrets of the business. So that is why they are entrepreneurs are also called as a business secretary. And then they have a clear objective, what they have to do, where they have to reach, they know for sure. And then they are also dealing with the human relations, and they should have a communication ability, because without communication ability, they may not be able to reach human. And why entrepreneurship, right? So these are the things that we have seen up to so far. We have seen what are the characteristics, who is the entrepreneur, and what are the traits of an entrepreneur, what are the characteristics of an entrepreneur that we have seen. Now we are moving on towards the why entrepreneurship. Why you have to have entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship allows you to do what you want to do, right? Doing what you love, your passion comes into reality. So that is why entrepreneurship and independence and freedom. See, when you start something on your own, you take risk, and it is your personal responsibility, and you have independence and freedom to decide what to do and what not to do, right? So you are going to face the loss, and you are independent, and you have a freedom, because you are visionary. And recognizing and self-fulfillment. So self-fulfillment here, what happened? Entrepreneurship See, initial stage people don't get so much of profit, right? You take up any example of any entrepreneur, and most of the entrepreneur at the initial stage they have struggled it. No entrepreneur have seen success at the initial stage, right? So, but still they have a self fulfillment because I am the owner of my own business. And they have an income potential. Yes, income potentials, if you are starting a business, initially you might not get the profit, or your profit will be above the break even, or below the break even, but over a period of time your income potential is much more and much larger than the what you are getting in a case of salaried people. And they are always a own boss. You are an independent, and you are a boss for yourself, and you are a boss for the employees working. And I'm so sorry, Deepali, I don't know Hindi. Own boss and innovation. So entrepreneurship always gives you opportunity for chance for innovation. Innovation means what? Innovation is not only what you create something new, and you also modify what is in existing. That is also innovation, right? Now we are moving on to types of entrepreneur. This chapter is very important, because the questions, repeated question is asked. And what kind of question can be asked? They are asking question, why based on the characteristics, who is called as a, which is the type of entrepreneur. And defining the entrepreneur, they will ask you the qualification or characteristics of a entrepreneur, right? So now we take one by one. Idealist entrepreneurs are basically are creative entrepreneur, or they are basically concentrated more on innovation. He likes innovations and enjoy working on something new or creative, so they are called as idealist. Idealist means what? They are ideal, they are always think about new, they always think about bringing new. And then optimizer, they feel themselves optimistic, positive, and then they have a personal satisfaction. I'm not worried about, my friends are getting 80,000 or 70,000, but though whatever I'm getting, my profit is less, but I am optimistic because I feel happy from my within. So that is what is optimistic. Hard worker basically they take up challenges themselves. Any challenge come, they manage and strive harder to attain the goal. Any kind of difficulty, they face it, and they are determined towards achievement of the goal. And sustainer basically the balance between work life means what? The personal life as well as work life. See, what happened is we might have come across the agency theory. What is that agency theory? Talks about it. And when you are a salaried employee, you will work only from 10 to 6, depending on the company, the timing, working hour keep changing it. But when it comes to your owner, there is no time limit, right? And we don't see, comfort zone. If you're a owner, you don't think about, I need to go in a car and transport and all. If there is no transport available immediately, what will you do? You will start taking an auto. So that is what is the agency theory. When you are a owner, your behavior within the organization and your attainment of the organization is goal completely different from agent perspective. And the improver, I hope this sustainer is everybody could manage. A sustainer basically they sustain the both work life as well as personal life, family life, they balance it. So that is what is a sustainer. And they sustain all kind of personal life challenges as well as official challenges. And improver they try to improve. They try to be a perfectionist, right? They always wanted to be a perfection. So how you can bring the perfection? So perfection you can bring by using the integrity, ethics, moral behavior applied in the organization, right? And then overcritical of employees and clients, right? So what do they do? They get the feedback from the employee. they get the feedback from the customers, and then they try to work on it and improve things, right? That is why they are called as an improver, and they are also called as an advisor. So advisor here, what happened? Consumer sovereignty, consumer rights, and consumer freedom, and consumer oriented business. They always talk about, what is required for the consumer perspective. When I'm producing some product, and whether is it demanded, is it useful, is it convenient for the consumer. So that aspect, that perspective, consumer perspective, you think and produce a product in, it is called as an advisor. And entrepreneurs also called as a superstar. Why a person is called as a superstar? Because they create their own personal brand, and they have their charisma, charm, and high energy, and they build a business around their own brand, right? So say those kind of entrepreneurs, and they are called as an artist. Who is an artist? Artists are basically they have a characteristics of a creativity and talent. And mostly entrepreneurs, like interior designer or a engineer kind of thing, no, they are more of a creativity and talents, and they put things in order, right? Artistic way. Even the artist of a drawing, painting, those professionals are called as an artist entrepreneur. And visionary, this kind of entrepreneur, they always think and visualize, dream, and materialize, curious in natures, right? And here what happened, visionary, they always know for sure that where they are going to go, how they are going to go. And analyst, these kind of things, a portfolio manager, or investing advisor, right? These people, they try to help the other people in solving the problem at no cost or at time. So they are analysts, no, they, when you give the inputs of a data, they analyze and give you the decision variable. And then those kind of entrepreneurs are called as a analyst entrepreneur. And who is a fireball? Full of life, energy, and optimism. So fireballs means they are always, optimistic and full of life. They always feel positive, and then they always give energy to other people, no, the positive energy to other people also. Jugglers, basically, in olden times, they are called as the entertainer, handle everything themselves, lots of energy. Here what happened, because they are entertainers, they don't take anything to their heart, and then they handle the situation, any kind of hard situation, very effectively. And then who is a hero entrepreneur? They are called as a hero because they have a great willingness and efficient leadership, lead the world and the business through any challenges. Why they are hero? If any challenges comes, no, they take up the challenges, and they find the solution for that particular challenge. And they have a great willingness, and they also have leadership to achieve that, to face the challenges along with their human resources within the organization. Who is a healer? Healer entrepreneurs are healer entrepreneurs nurtures the business with calmness and harmony. So they don't they are very peaceful basically, and they don't disturb. They create a kind of harmony within the organization, and through that functions of the organization, they also take this harmony and calmness throughout the society, and etc., to the customer, society, etc. So now we are moving on to creativity and innovation. So what is a creativity? Creativity means to create something new, something new. Innovation also to create something new. And creativity and innovation. Why entrepreneur and entrepreneurship talks about creativity and innovation? Because to sustain, to face the competitor. To face the competition in the market, we need to have creativity and innovation, without which we may not be able to sustain in the market, and we may not be able to win over the confidence of the customers or a general public to sell our product. Is very, very important, creativity and innovation. So additional innovation makes firm looks glamorous to reach out the customer in satisfying the customer needs. Why additional innovation? We are performing. Everyone is performing the duty, but we always pick up some product which makes our time, which saves our time, which makes us more comfortable in using a particular product. Say for example, now electric razors have come, right? So now that is more helpful, saves your time. So that is why people prefer electric razors than the traditional razors. So that's the best example we can say with respect to innovation and creativity. And what is this in a case of creative and innovation, we should look competing on the quality, not the prices. So when you say, then true quality, quality improvement is more important rather than reducing the prices, because if you reduce the prices, the next person will come, they'll improvise the technology, and they adopt that by adopting the technology, they can bring down the prices. But when you reduce the quality, you can never win over the confidence of the public or a consumer. Domination of the market niche means what? You have to identify the gap or the gray area of a market, then only you'll be able to reach. Then only which means what? Niche means, market niche means what? You have to see what is the gap, what is a problem available, how to bring out the solution for that. Such niche is helpful. So you have to dominate on that. Competing in an area of strength, what is comfortable for you, that you have to do, instead of whatever you want to do it. So any activity what you do which is comfortable for you, then you have to have it. So how to create comfortness? And you have to have your interest, right, which is very very important. Many a times students say that, sir, I don't I feel bored, I can't I don't get um, I'm not comfortable with accounts, or I'm not comfortable in a theory, because you do not have interest. You have to create an interest why you are studying that particular chapter. If you create an interest, which will be very helpful to create a comfortness, right? So that is very very important. And having tight financial and operating control, because for creativity and innovation is very very important, because technology, when you adopt it, you cannot spend too much of money on a technology unless and otherwise it is beneficial, and it is going to reduce the price of the cost of the price. So you have to have a tight control over the financial as well as operating control. Frequent product and service innovation, it is not only at the initial stage. Mostly what happened, people have a misconception or a myth about the innovation, that innovation is only those who are starting up a business. No, innovation and creativity should be there throughout the business, because the innovation only will help you to sustain in the market. Without innovation and creativity, you cannot sustain in the industry or a market. Creativity and innovation helps firm to remain relevant to the customers. See, if those companies, those organizations which are not taking up the creativity and innovation, they may not be able to remain relevant to the customers, because for the customers, convenience is important rather than consumer loyalty. And then now we are moving on to the environmental scanning. What is environmental scanning? This is very very important, because a lot of question can be asked, because this is technical aspects of the entrepreneurship. So this is very very important, and I request everyone to pay more attention in this chapters. Even after my classes, you have to go through the subject very carefully, or the contents, and I have put things in order, in a systematic way, which will be helpful, as well as which you can relate it, differentiate, and all those things. Now you see what is the environmental scanning. So environmental scanning, careful monitoring of an organization internal external environment for detecting early signs of opportunities and threats that may be influence its current and future plan. So what does that mean, environmental scanning? So when I am starting up a business, I should not see what is a plus for me or a minus for me. I should also see plus and minus of the outside the organization, that is external environment. So both we have to see, that is external means what, competitor, supplier, government policy, etc., etc., that also you should need to take into consideration. From that external, what is that plus and minus that I should do. So a combination of all the plus and minuses of the internal environment as well as the external environment will create, will help you to identify the opportunity or a gap available, will be able to, you will be able to identify. So that is very very important. Importance of environmental scanning came during 1970. So this is a very important point that you should remember. During 1970 in US, what happened? Dual career couple preferred to remain childless. What happened? Both husband and wife during 1970 in USA, they started working. Both the husband and wife started working, and they started thinking that we are two. Why we should think of one? So that is why childless, they started behaving childless. When they started thinking of childless, they never bothered about, they started living their life. So that time the life insurance came into existence. So here what happened, basically when you have a child, what happened, when you get old, when you retire, so your children will take care of you. So that time the life insurance concept existence, right? That is a entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship was innovation in the insurance field. So they say that if those couples without children, and they can manage the life without children also in the future. So that was the thing, is the example of environmental scanning. What are the types of environmental scannings are there? SWOT analysis, pest or a pestle analysis, industry analysis. So here we are going to go in detail. We are going to study in detail each and every analysis. So what is a SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis take into consideration internal as well as external analysis, right? Internal as well as external analysis. So external, so combination of two we are taking into consideration. What is a pest or a pestle analysis? Pestle stand for political, economical, social, technological, and then environmental, legal. So all these things are talks about only external environment. Industry analysis most likely offer specific industry, that is also an external environment. And then what is a pestle analysis? Pestle analysis basically talks about a macro environment, not a micro and macro environment. We will go through one by one. And what is a SWOT analysis? A SWOT analysis basically brought by Albert S. Humphrey during 1960. A SWOT analysis talks about strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So here, as I said, internal environment as well as external environment, which are good and which are bad, are harmful. So that is what. So here in the SWOT analysis, we can see one thing is that mm, what is a strength? Strength is oneself. What I have with me internally is called as a strength, right? Say for example, SWOT analysis for a student, SWOT analysis for the those who are looking for the job, they can say what are your strengths. Strength means I know multiple language, right? Or I am comfortable with these other technique. I am a very techy kind of thing. That what you have a plus within you, that is what is a internal, and that is what is a strength. And what is a weakness? Weakness means what? I do not know Hindi, and that is a weakness. So that which I do not have personally is called as a weakness, right? So that is what. And then what is the minimum expected things? It's asked for a particular job, that if you do not have it, then it is weakness. What is a helpful and harmful things in external way? When you find something offers, when you find some gap in others, right, and that you can try to fulfill it, and which you have it externally, then is called as an opportunity. What is a threat? A threat is an activity, is harmful from the outside, right? And say for example, competitors are coming, competitors are buying a new technology, and which can reduce the price, in a market, and then they are going to threat. That is a threat for the particular company. And what is a pestle analysis? A pestle analysis initially started by Francis Aguilar in 1967, and initially the pestle evolved only four letter called pest, PEST. What is a pest? Pest means political, economical, sociological, and technological. These are the four initially started, and over a period of time, these another two elements called legal and environmental came into existence. So what are the political analysis? Political analysis, you have to see government policy, political stability, corruption, a state of corruption, tax policy, and then labor law. Because mostly what happened, entrepreneurship is biggest hindrance for the entrepreneurs is a compliance of the industrial and labor law. So what happens here, if you start up, even yesterday's class we have seen in the case of provident fund, where you have 20 or more than 20 number of employees employed in an organization, then you have to adopt a provident fund. So you have to comply. And when it is a factory and 10 or more employee working with the head of power, and 20 or more employee without head of power, then they you have to comply with the health, safety, and welfare measures, so etc. That compliance becomes a big hindrance for the entrepreneur to start up. And that is the reason why now they have a combined labor law practice, right, was adopted, initiated, and which is passed in the parliament. And trade restrictions, right, trade restriction like competition act, etc. And what are the elements of economical analysis? Economic growth, exchange rate, interest rate, inflation rate, disposable income, and then unemployment. So these are the very important element in the aspects of economic analysis. And sociological analysis includes population growth rate, age distribution. And age distribution here, what they call it as, in India the youngsters range of a youngster's age is higher than that of a US, because US mostly the retirement age group people are more, because of the previous case insurance example I told 1970, that people childless culture they adopted, so that is why the population has a stagnant position. So, and then career attitudes, safety emphasis, health consciousness, lifestyle attitude, and cultural barriers are the sociological aspects that we have to look into it, starting up a business or starting up an entrepreneurship career. And then while going towards the technological aspects, we have to see technology incentives. Technological incentives talks about, when you adopt technology, what is the benefit that I'm going to have it, in what way I'm going to win over the confidence of the customers and other general public over my competitors. So that is very important. And then level of innovation. And what is the level of innovation? Say for example, anything that anything somebody is raising the hands. Okay. Okay. Where we technical, right? So technical is always talks about more on the technological aspects, how to reach. And then level of innovation talks about level of innovation means what? See, we can tell that if you are inventing something, generally people don't go to the last level of innovation. They always implement the innovation on a stage by stage. The best example we can say is that Apple iPhone. What happened? They don't give all the innovation at one go. They always give every year that innovative products are coming, right? So that then only they will sustain in the market. So technology level of innovation is very, very important. And then automation and R&D, research and development activity, how much important that you are giving to the R&D, research and development, that defines your technological ends, strength. And then technological awareness. So one has to be cope up with the technological changes, otherwise one may not be able to sustain it. And what are the legal now the new thing has come, environmental impact assessment 2020, and the same thing, weather, climate, environmental policies, and climate change, and pressures from non-governmental organizations, right? There are socialists where they are taking into action, because most of the industry feels that social activists, they put RTI, get the information, and they file a cases against the industry and all. So you have to be very careful in complying with the environmental related law, and then to cope up with the environmental activity, and without disturbing, without polluting the environment, weather, climate, and also adopt environmental policies. And what is the environmental related thing? Discrimination laws, right? And then antitrust laws, employment laws, consumer protection laws, copyrights and patent laws, health and safety laws. So environmental related laws, you have to comply. It is not only environmental related law, you have to also follow uh, the environment. Here it talks not only the environment, but all other things, your internal as well as external environment. You see, in the case of health safety laws, in a factories act mandate that minimum safety they have demanded. It is the rights of the employees to have a minimum safety and health and welfare measures to be taken at the cost of the employer. And moving on to the industry analysis, industry analysis was started in the year 1979 by Harvard Business School, a person called professor called Michael Porter. That is why this analysis is also called as Porter 5 analysis. Mark this word. This question can be asked, which year it came into existence, by whom it came into existence, which place it started. So Harvard Business School, and then it was invented by Porter. That is why this analysis, industry analysis, is also called as Porter 5 industry analysis. So here what they do, they try to understand both the strength of a current competitive position and the strength of the position moving into, right? It is the industry analysis. It talks about, it's not only a present position, how to sustain the competition, how to sustain this position even in the future also. That is what this industry analysis. So industry analysis basically talks about 5 elements, and these 5 elements are also very important, because this question can be asked: who is a buyer? What are the elements, to sustain in the market? You have to satisfy the buyer, you have to satisfy the supplier, and you also have to see substitute and potential entrance. So these are the 4 threads that is, you should concentrate. So you have to buyers power. What are the buyers power? Bargaining powers of the buyers. So buyers power, when with respect to number of customers, size of each order, and difference between competitors, and price sensitivity, ability to substitute, and cost of changing. So buyers, basically what happen in case if your quality reduces, or if there is any changes in your prices, your prices you are increasing, and but your competitor price is same, then obviously the buyers will move on to your competitors, and they will try to sustain, they will try to take advantage, price advantage, with respect to your customers over you. So you have to be very careful handling, understanding the purchasing power and buying, bargaining power of your buyer side. And supplier side, what are the things? Bargaining power of your suppliers. Supplier, again, number of suppliers, size of suppliers, uniqueness of services, your ability to substitute, and then cost of changing. See what happened. You have a supplier, and he is only one supplier, only supplier in your district or a state, and you cannot mess up with him. What happened? If he stops supplying raw material to you, then what will happen? Your production will get destructed. So that you have to be very careful. It's the same way when you cannot mess up with your buyer also. These are the two traits that to sustain in the market is very, very important. And other two things are the substitute threats of the substitute performance, cost of change. What happened, we are doing some work, we are doing example, TCS, Tata Consultancy, what they did it recently. And because of the COVID, what is the substitute they had it, instead of bringing all the employee to the office, now they have vacated the offices, physical offices, they have moved on, and they have declared that people, employees of the TCS, a significant portion of the employees can work from home. So this way, they have substituted the physical environment to a online platform. So through which they have saved a lot of money. So cost of change will help you to adopt substitute, and that is also another important thing. And potential entrance. So potential entrance basically talks about new entry, threats of a new entry. Threats of a new entry, what happened when you are not updating, when you are not up to date, when you are not analyzing that niche of the industry, niche of the market, then what will happen? Another person will identify such niche and then such a gap, and then they will try to innovate and create a new place, and then which they might replace you. So that is a threat of a new entrant. So what are the things that we have to see in that threats of a new entry is that time and cost of entry, and also specialist knowledge, and then economies of scale, cost advantage, technology protection, barriers to entry. So these are the important things that we should take into consideration. So all the four factors together enforces industry competitors or rivalry among the existing firms. So these are the things every industry, every entrepreneur trying to trying to cope up with these four factors. That is why there is a rivalry among the industry, among the company, among the entrepreneur. So what are the things that we should see? Competitive rivalry, a number of competitors you should see, and then quality differences, because I told you, you cannot sacrifice the quality, and then but you can sacrifice the prices. That is more important. Quality differences, other differences other than the quality, price, place, brand, all those things. And then switching cost and customer loyalty also is very, very important. There are the customer loyalty talks about, even if you increase your price, no, there are customers will use only your products, right? So that is a customer loyalty. And these are with respect to industry analysis. And moving forward, what happens is that scanning environmental scanning or environmental scanning process. So techniques of environmental scanning, there are three techniques. What are the three we have seen? SWOT analysis, which talks about strength and weakness of personnel, that is within the organization, opportunities and threat from the other perspective, right? So that is SWOT analysis we have seen. And then we have also seen about the PESTEL analysis. PESTEL stand for political, environmental, sociological, and technological, legal, and environmental. So these are the six elements we have to analyze before entering into the market and to sustain in the market. And we have also seen, after analyzing the strength and weakness of internal and external, then we go specific industry, and then we do analysis. What are the things that we should do, what are the things that we should not do, that we analyze. After analyzing that, we go for a what is the third things we have seen? Porter 5. Porter 5 analysis talks about how to sustain the competition in the market. So these are the three levels that we have seen. First, before starting, we have to see internal and external, and then we go for an industry specific, and then we see we have already entered into the market, and we see the market. How to sustain in the market. These are the three techniques that we have seen. Now we are going to go for how environmental scanning can take place. What is the process, right? That is what we are going to see. What is the environmental scanning process? How we are going to scan the environment, how to process the environment. That environment scanning include both internal environment as well as external environment. So here, first step in environmental scanning process, you should do what? A searching information. You should search for the information. Such information can be anything, right? So when you search for the information, you don't go for a preconceived idea. You collect information. That after collecting information, and you select information which are relevant to achievement of your organization goals. So that is very important. And then after selecting and identify which are more relevant to your company alone, and then you scan it. That is identifying what are the internal, what are external, which are within your control, which are outside your control, and then you scan it. And then determining special action depending on the internal and externalities of the environment. You determine the action. Determining action means what? You have identified the problem, and you have by collecting the information, and selecting the information and identification. And then after that, you have selected the information by using the scanning. By scanning, you know that what is the in scanning, what are we do? We know the SWOT analysis, we know the technological, that is pestle aspects, and then you have already identified, and then now you have to put into action, that is implementation, taking corrective action. Action portion is called as the determining the special action with respect to scanned information. And then types of environmental scanning, there are three. Basically there are two, and in our book it is given three. So now this picture will give you this particular slide will give you a broader perspective, and I'm telling you, if you can screenshot it, take it, and it is also available in a Google and Wikipedia, and then you can take it up. You see there are basic two types of things are what is there in identifying criteria. Okay, what is that, Vinayak? Identifying means what? See, I tell you, searching means when I tell you, best example I tell you, you go and look at the previous year question paper. What happened? You do not know what is there, right? So you search for the information. Search for the information. What do you search? Whether all the syllabuses are covered, which is given more important. That is what you are searching. You searching means is a very wider sense, very broader sense, that you search means you are searching anything and everything, and selecting which are relevant, right? Identifying after searching, you select which are relevant, which are irrelevant. You leave the irrelevant information. From the relevant information, you identify which are relevant to your organization alone, which is only with your organization that you identify, right? And then you scan. After identifying, you scan which are internal, which are external, which are the traits, opportunity, and strength and weaknesses that you see. That is what is a scanning. And here in the case of passive and active environmental scanning, passive means what? It is undirected viewing, that is constraint interpretation, non-routine, informal data, hunch, rumor, chance, opportunity. So here passive, what happened? Informal activity. You don't. It is not pre-planned. So that is what is a passive, right? So and condition viewing talks about. Analyze. So you can see that passive talks about passive, in the case of passive, undirected viewing, unanalyzable. You cannot analyze, it is not in your control. Then what you do, you take action after it takes place, right? And then condition viewing talks about analyzable. You analyze what are the things, interpret within the traditional boundaries. Passive detection, routine, formal data. So these are the routine things. Okay, if COVID comes and everybody knows, you can analyze if COVID is going to be extended in the near future. Now you know how to handle the situation. Unanalyzable in the March 22nd, right? So when they first declared that 22nd, that first the Prime Minister said that everybody, you stay back within the organization. And 24th onwards, they have declared that 144 all over India. Then it is unanalyzable. You cannot analyze what is going to happen, when it is going to stop it. So you do not know. That is undirected. What is condition? Condition means you know already and you can analyze and repeat your action, right? And then what is active? Active scanning talks about there are again two, analyzable and unanalyzable. Unanalyzable. In the case of unanalyzable, enacting, that is experimentation, testing, coercion, invent environment, and learn by doing it. So in the case of active, you learn by doing it, because you take some action without having preconceived idea. You take action, that is you face the risk and then you learn by doing it. But what is analyzable? Discovering is the point which combines active and analyzable, and formal search, questioning, surveys, data gathering, active detection. So after things happen, you analyze what uh, uh, I think my internet is okay. I do not know what to do with Abhinav. Am I audible now? Because my internet is full now. I am sitting very close to the balcony. So class is going well. Okay, that's fine. Alvin, thank you for that. And active and passive, that we should remember that when it is analyzable and unanalyzable, we should know what are the four elements. Again, in this case, you should know these four steps. That is passive, active, and in your book it is given directive. Right? These are the four you should remember in your book. This chart is not given. You can take up. It will be useful for you. And then the one more thing, what is given after active, after taking active scanning, the next step is called as a directive. Right? Directive means what, you have taken the action, but you're directing the other employees in your organization, and you take directive steps. Right? If this happens, you have to take your goal towards this direction or that direction. That is what is called as a directive scanning. Right? So in your book, what is given? Three things given. One is active, passive, active, and directive. Passive means what? Passive means you take action without having idea of your past. Right? And active means things happen. Sorry. In the case of passive, conditioned. So you have your preconceived conditions and then you take action. Active means something happened, then you take action. Right? And then directive in addition to active. Right? And then market assessment. What is market assessment? Market assessment talks about, so far what are the things that we have seen? I tell you techniques to make you understand. That we have seen techniques of environmental scanning. We have seen the SWOT analysis of everything, internal as well as external, and we have also seen a pestle analysis. Pestle analysis talks about political, environmental, sociological, technological, legal, and environmental aspects. And then we have also seen about Porter 5 Porter 5 competitive rivalry among the market. Right? And then now we are going to assess the market. We have assessed the environment with using the three techniques called what are the three techniques we have used? SWOT analysis, industry analysis, and Porter 5 analysis. Right? Pestle analysis, industry analysis. Now we are going to see market assessment. Why you have to assess the market? It is not only you assess the internal, external environment and then industry analysis. You should also understand what is the market, what is happening, who is the leader, who is the competitor, and in what way market is opening. Market is very, very important, because market will give you the opportunity. What is missing in the existing presence will help you to identify the niche, the gap in the market. Right? So to know whether there exists any demand to the idea, so you have created some idea, is there any demand? So that helps to assess the market, and then re-evaluate the strategy and determine if there is a room for another player. See, you have already entered into the market. You should also keep up to date your technology and other product development, because if you have a gap, if you give a chance, another person will come and fill your gap. So that is why you have to be very careful and cope up with the market and through assessment. So market assessment helps to prepare to enter new market, right? So when you keep assessing the market, it will allow you to it gives you a way, a direction, or a chance to enter into that market. And it also help you to launch a new product or a service, to start a new business, because market assessment will give you an opportunity to start a new business, to start a to invent a new product, and to enter into that new market. New market means what? You are already there in one market, and it allows you to enter into the another market. So that is very, very important. Say for example, international marketing, right? International business allow through market assessment, what is the demand. Initial stage, Indian products like pickles and all, it started like that only. Indian products were not available overseas. So entrepreneurs started importing things from India, and then they started start up a Indian based business, where you get Indian spices, that way they started up. And what are the steps in market assessment? Market assessment, initially you have to identify the problem. What is the problem? You have to identify that problem. Talks about the gap, that gap. After defining a problem, that is identifying the problem, you have to analyze the problem. So what are the analysis? There are two types of analysis: primary as well as secondary market research. So primary means what? You go in person and get survey and opinion, from customers and suppliers. So I am planning to start up a product with these features, will you buy this product, right? So after assessing from opinion, after obtaining opinion from the customer's perspective, then you start up. So that is a primary. And what is a secondary research, a market research, which are established information, which are printed information by way of book, emails, and data available in a websites. Those kind of things are called as a secondary market research. And the third step, obtaining data that is specific to the problem. After that, you are analyzing the situation. That is, situation means what? After identifying the problem, you are analyzing the situation, whether this problem is related to primary data, or primary research, or a secondary research. Then after identifying whether it is primary research or secondary research, then you go and get the information. That information, how do you get? Obtaining data from to the specific problem. You are identifying, you are planning to start up you are planning to invent a new product, especially for a woman. In the case of woman Horlicks example, woman Horlicks example. So you can say that before startup, they went to women, and before startup, fair and handsome, facial cream, beauty cream. And they started taking the primary survey. They started getting the opinion from the user perspective, that how many people are using, and why you are using the fair and lovely. Because that in the case of fair and handsome, most of the men, they say that we don't have anything specific for the men. That is why fair and lovelies were used for the men also. Though it is meant for a woman, it is used by the men also. And that is why you also must have noticed in the advertisement, so people, the men started using the facial cream of a woman. And that's why the brand ambassador comes and say that now you have fair and handsome. So that is the way you obtain the information, specific information for the analysis. Then you analyze with the data, you analyze and interpret the data, and fostering idea and problem solving. So after interpreting, you get a decision variable. Then you take the decision and designing the plan to implement that same analysis. And then assessment of a business opportunity. How to assess the business opportunity. So now I'm again going back to, because what happened, it's very confusing, that's why I'm repeating it. So in the case of environmental assessment, you have three techniques: SWOT analysis, pestle analysis, and pestle 5 industry analysis. And then we moved on to environmental scanning process, and then market assessment. Now we are moving on to opportunity, business opportunity assessment, right? So step by step you are coming. First you are identifying the industry. First you are processing the environment, internal environment and external environment, and then you analyze, assess the environment, and then industry, and then market, and then business. So now you know, from the perspective is of the environment. Environment is a very wide internal environment. Inside you go industry, inside the industry you go market, inside the market you go business opportunity, right? And then now you go, what is a business plan? Too much. So generally what happened, people have a confusion, business plan means it takes too much time, and it is only for a large company and a fancier company. It is not for that other companies. So it's a wrong conception. Business plan, it's same like a management planning function. So planning is very very essential, which helps you to achieve your organization goal in a effective and efficient way. So business plan is required at all level and at all time. So that is what. And business plan includes goal and functional strategies and budget and cash flow projections and regular reviews. So business plan basically has these are the four functions. And what are the things? Business plan is very helpful for the attainment of the goal, and it also has functional strategies like marketing department, what are the strategy that they should do it, they should take it. And then finance department, what are the strategy they should, cost control, right? Marketing strategy, expanding, right? And they have to achieve the target, right? R&D, they should always innovate, innovation in the not only product design and technology, but also innovation in all other aspects of satisfying the customer needs and making the customer with you sustain in your product and product technologies. And they are talking about what are the skills are required for the business plan, to draft the business plan: engineering skill, manufacturing skill, selling skill, and business skill. So these are the skills, basic skills is required to write up, to draft a business plan, right? Developing effective business plan. So what are the steps involved in a developing effective business plan? Again and again they are telling identification and evaluation of the opportunity. Without identification of the opportunity and evaluation, you may not be able to draft your business plan. That is the first and foremost step, that you have to identify the business opportunity, then the gap, and then from the gap you see what is the opportunity for you, right? And that opportunity should be your strength. That is also very very important. And after identification and evaluation, you draft your business plan. So this business plan should basically talks about, financial evaluation and technological feasibility, right? Financial viability, marketing feasibility, technological feasibility, right? That opportunity, if I'm going to start up a business and if I'm going to import the machine from the foreign, and is there any service centers here, and if there is any problem, how they are going to do, and is there any people coming from the abroad to train my employee to operate the machine. And marketing feasibility includes the demand analysis. What is the demand for my particular product in the market, and then how to analyze the demand, how to predict the demand. So though etc are the marketing feasibility. So I'm repeating again: technological feasibility, marketing feasibility, and then production feasibility, and economical feasibility, and financial viability. Whatever you are predicting, whatever you are projecting the sales, whatever you are projecting the profits, is it viable, financially viable? And all other cases it is technically feasible, marketing feasibility, all that you have to study. And then determination of the required resources. What are the resources are required, right? After development of a financial plan, and what are the requirements of the required resources? Financial resources. What is the financial resources? How we are going to get it, right? What are the resources required? Supply is required, we need to have a supplier, we need to have a minimum director in case if you are going to start up a public company, and then what other things that you need to have a concessions, land, labor, production functions, materials related to elements of production functions, etc., and then management of the resulting enterprise. So after determining required resources, after obtaining it, you establish the industry, and then you management sustain in the market. What is opportunities and challenges faced by the entrepreneurs? So entrepreneur opportunity includes future of entrepreneurship, right? That is what is called as a opportunity. That is new process, new innovation, new creativity will help you to have a new process. That is what is called as a future of entrepreneurship. Supply of entrepreneurship and economic development. You see why even present government talks more about MSME and think India, and then stand up India, startup India, etc., because the more and more business startups starts in India. What happened, the production starts. When production starts, the GDP increases, the production starts, the cost of production comes down, and then you can export our material, our products to foreign, and then we get strengthened by our foreign currency, foreign reserve, and the economy overall develops. So you can see from the chart which is there in your given in your book, entrepreneurial action and strategic action are combination. It brings innovation, creativity, organizational learning, and growth, and together is called as a wealth creation, not only for your own business, not only for your own industry, not only for your own market, but throughout the country. Right? So that is very, very important, because when you start up a business, you are giving employment opportunity to the lot of people. If you start up a business, if you take up a employment opportunity, then you have a relationship of servant and agent, right? So leader and a follower kind of thing. But your creative thinking and your innovation skill will come to an end, right? So that's where opportunity and is very, very important, because opportunity gives scope for entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship, the growth in the entrepreneurship gives you economic development, and economic development gives scope for company to develop, right? That's very, very important. And what are the opportunities creating Indian entrepreneurs, and then right environmental success. These are the government role, creating Indian entrepreneurs. That is why there's a lot of concession is provided to the entrepreneurs, and then right environment for success, access to the right skills, access to the smart capital, enable networking and exchange. And challenges before entrepreneurs includes no rules for protecting employees. See, what are the challenges when one start new business? They are telling lot of protection with respect to environment, with respect to employees, but there is no protection with respect to employer, entrepreneur who's starting the business. And global competition is increasing day by day, and challenges around the globe. Yes, and then lack of balance between projects and persons, right? To You do not have, when you start up a business, and people entrepreneurs are not cope up with a new idea, and they are not identifying the opportunities, and then the people are not ready to take up entrepreneurial activity, because they have inherent fear for the risk, and delayed payments. When you are starting up a business, what happens, you will get your profit later, and there is already a problem when you supply material and you get a delayed payment, which is also another problem. That is the reason these entrepreneurs are not ready to take up, persons are not ready to take up entrepreneurial activities. Uncertain return to the investors. So those who are investing, see what happened, there are two types, entrepreneurs. One who puts their own investment and they make money out of others' investment. So in the case of second, uncertain return to the other investors. So that is why people are not ready to invest, especially in the case of entrepreneurship. So though we have uh, you know uh, bank financing and other what do you call other sources, that people are angel investor, anchor investors, like that. Still people are not confident enough to invest it, because an entrepreneur is a new piece of a new person who is going to experience it, and they are going to take the responsibility, but they will not take the responsibility with respect to others money. So that is why the investors are also scared. And what are the characteristics to overcome such challenges is that innovation. And innovation, where they have to innovate, not only at the initial, subsequent factors of production and market, they have to innovation should spread towards all the aspects of the initial stage as well as subsequent stages, and factors of production as well as production technology, product production technology, as well as market. And risk oriented, you should assume your risk, your level of risk in which you can manage. And then achievement oriented, you should work towards and determine to achieve your goal. Involves managerial skills and leadership. To be an entrepreneur, it is not only managerial skills but also leadership, because a good leader will make the follower to achieve their goal. So that is very, very important. Impact of cultural and religious factors. So you should be doubly conscious about implementation of a cultural and addressing cultural and religious aspects of a business. It is a practice, because entrepreneurship is a practice. Entrepreneur itself is a practice, and you cannot say it's only a function. An economic activity. And what is a strategic planning? A strategic planning, even from the first day class, I'm telling what is a strategy. And strategy, taking advantage of the competitor's weakness. So that is what is a strategy, right? And then strategic planning is a formulation of a long range of plan for the effective management of environment, and then environmental opportunities and threats in the right ventures, strength and a weakness. So what are the things it involves, steps involved in the strategic planning? Examining the internal, external environments of the venture. That is SWOT analysis. Formulate the venture long range and the short range strategy. That is mission, objective, strategies and policies in which employees will work towards the achievement of the organization goal. Implementation of the same through programs, budget and procedures. Evaluate the performance of the strategy. So evaluate the strategy after implementation, evaluate the strategy, and after evaluation, take the corrective steps if there is any deviation. Financing entrepreneurial business. So what are the financial how to finance entrepreneurial business? Resource assessment. You have to assess the resources and fixed and working capital requirements. What is the difference between fixed and working capital, and fixed or a floating or a working capital requirements? Fixed means you need fixed every year, you need so much of amount, it is fixed, right? Fixed capital, once you invest it, it is there forever. And what is a floating or a working capital environment? To run the day-to-day activity, the business requires minimum expenses, minimum capital, which is in fluctuating in nature. Say for example, rent, electricity, water bill, right? And employee salary, wage, etc., stationary expenses, all the things are comes under working capital requirements. Funds flow. What is the flow of funds, within the organization? That is a conversion of input, that is credit sales to getting back, that is a cycle, cycle. So that you have to remember the sources of finance. So what are the sources of finances? Are there public, that is debt finance, and then equity finance, means of finance, whether you are going to borrow or your own finance. So even if you go for a borrowing capital, the advisors, project financing, they are talking about you need to have a promoter's contribution. So promoter contribution talks about one third, that is 33.33% of the contribution is very, very essential, because if unless you put your own money, your contribution, your involvement will be very, very less. So as I told you, with respect to this one, what do you call, agency theory. So agency theory, if you're a owner, your approach to handling business is different, and if you're only an employee, your approach to handling the business is different. And managing the growing business, when the business expansion strategy, how to handle, right? Effective change, you have to adopt to the change, and then technological change and product change and all those things. And you all should always think of modernization, expansion, diversification. With this, entrepreneur things got over, and then next class we will be talking about social entrepreneurship, and support from the government, right? Government support. And if you have any question, we can I can take up now, though we are quarter to 2, we can go up to 2 o'clock. What is that, Arsha Priya? Difference between 1 minute. Difference between Fireball and Superstar. Fireball, Superstar, basically they have their own brand, right? They create their own brand. But in the case of a Fireball, they only take up the challenges, right? They sustain. So by taking up the challenges, they sustain. That's it. Have I made myself clear to you? Uh, you will be taking MCQs, sir? Now, no. See, I told you, even in the case of management also, and ethics also, and communication also, unless we complete one entire chapter, we won't be able to take up, because the questions includes all the aspects of environment. So sometimes, no, when I take up the question session now, you will be exposed to the next session also. The next session will not be that interesting. So that's why I always take up the question at the end. And one more thing now, I could not get the question paper. Now I am trying to ask for the question paper from the institute. Once I get it, I will discuss that in the next class. Okay. And otherwise we will discuss previous what is there in our book. 1 minute, we are going fast. And between hard worker, hero, both will take challenge. Okay. Hero will not think about only oneself. They will think about the world also. That is why they are hero. Think about the movie hero. What happened, how hero is possessed, like this very simple example might be funny also. Think about Spider-Man will not think about themselves, but the world problem they will address. But in the case of hard worker, they will try to be determined and achieving their goal, right? Whatever problem comes, finance problem, technical problem, whatever pressure comes, they will change up, they will be sustained. But in the case of hero, will think about the world, right? They will not. So we'll put it this way: hard worker will think about only internal, but hero will think about internal as well as external. And then where do we get latest previous question paper, which is available, which is not available because foundation examination are taking place online, and online question papers are not available. So that you have to remember. What is a juggler entrepreneurs are entertainer, right? Entertainer, basically they are optimist, right? So that you have to remember. And pestle analysis. Okay, pestle analysis basically explains you about political, environmental. I'll start from the beginning. Pestle analysis initially started with a 4-lettered word, PEST, which is acronym for political, environmental, sociological, and technological. But over a period of time, another 2 terms, legal and environmental, also came into existence. So these 6 terms is very, very essential before entering into the market. So Pestle will tell you that what is the industry, what is happening in the industry with respect to political. When you are entering into a country, new country, that you see the political aspects, and you see the economical aspects, you see the social aspects, as well as technological aspects, environmental and legal implication, and the compliances of legal as well as environmental compliances. Then you decide of starting up a business, right? Scanning at an unconscious level means, so scanning at a conscious level and unconscious level means, see, when you are analyzing the environment consciously, you know what is going to happen. Like probability, you will be able to predict it, but you cannot predict it. That is unconscious, right? And sometimes what happens, we take an action without knowing what will be the impact of our action, is called as the unconscious. Okay, juggler, I told you, juggler is an entertainer but optimist. But optimizer is only an optimist. They think that they are happy or positive energy. They think that I am the owner of a business. That makes me happy, right? So Galaxy M10. Your name is not there. I hope you can follow juggler and optimizer. Juggler, difference between juggler and optimizer, both are optimistic, but optimizer think about, they are happy whatever they have it. But entertainer, they create by entertaining, they are the basic entertainer. Okay, 1 minute. Healer, they bring a concept of 1 minute. Um, Healer bring harmonization and peace, to that kind of entrepreneur. They create an environment, a harmonized environment. So that is why they call as a healer, and then 1 minute. Third level market. What is that you have asked? Third level market research. Okay. Uh, Third level market basically involved with traders, no traders, investors perspective like that. So that is what is the third level market research. So primary and secondary, what we have seen, primary and secondary, first hand information from the customers, secondary level, which is established information, and third level information that you go to a specific industry and specific person who can analyze the information, right? And then explain last slide. Financing entrepreneurship. You please tell me the topic, otherwise no, it will be very difficult for me to go back. Previous means I do not know with what respect, with what aspect that you are talking about. And third level I have explained. And Porter 5 analysis talks about, to sustain in the market, what are the threats that entrepreneur has to go through. So the main two things that I told you is that the buyer and a supplier, these are very important things. You should think about it. These are the two direct forces that which is forcing the competition in the market, and then the other two comes as a substitute, as well as new entrants. Who are the new entrants? The innovator who is coming, who is trying to take opportunity, right, in the market. So that also you should see. And then substitute products, right? You are producing a product, and which substitutes are there in the market, then obviously buyers will go for the substitute products. And what is the cost and what is the deviation, that also you should remember. And that is what is all talks about Porter's 5 industry analysis to sustain in the market. So what are the things that you should do? All the companies at every stage, they prepare a business plan. It is not necessary. That is what I said. Business plan, people have a misconception about the business plan, that generally business plan is essential. See, planning is a pervasive function. It is applicable in all levels. That is what we have seen in the functions of a business management. But here, business plan, if you have a business plan, proper business plan will help you achieve your goal effectively, right? That is why. So if you ask a question that is it necessary, yes, it is necessary. But whether if you is it practical, people don't put into practice, right? But that is what is the answer. I think Pallavi, I hope that I have answered your things. Artist basically, they are very creative and talent, right? So that is why they are artists. So artists basically, when you do work, artistic hands are there inside. Especially we take example of a woman entrepreneurs are always the best example of artists. because they always put things in a different creative way, right? When you give a work to a woman, they think more creative than the men, right? So that is why they are artists. I gave you example of interior designer, right? Interior designer, fashion designer. They are creative and innovative, and they are artistic in that way, right? So that is the best example. A fireball, you can say a fireball entrepreneur. Okay. A fireball entrepreneur, they are always, uh, there's something goes inside them that, to take up a challenge, to sustain the challenge, and they are always basically they are optimistic. And I'll go back to the this one. 1 minute. Is there any other question? 1 minute. It's live now. Can we wait for 2 minutes because the students are coming? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I am ready, sir. I am ready. Oh, that's an old one. Sorry, I have seen the previous one. Okay, 1 minute. Fireball, I told you about the active and passive. That let me go back. Okay, so to see passive and active, when things are happening, you take action. Use by using your previous experience is called as a passive. Things after you take action after things happen, that is active, right? You are see the best example we can say that you are active. Active means what? You keep watching the market, and if anything happening in the market, anything happening in the environment, immediately you take the reaction. Your reaction is called as active scanning. But what is passive scanning? Passive scanning, whether it is going to happen or not, you do your process and you keep watching it, and you take precautionary measures, right? Before things happen you take action, but you take action only things after happening is called as an active action. And directive environmental scanning talks about you are directed, right? You are directed by with the help of action. So after action research, what happens is that direction. And then direct I think I have told you what is the difference between businessman and an entrepreneur. A businessman and an entrepreneur, most of the time they interpret in the same way, but entrepreneur will take up the risk. They have an innovative quality. They have the leadership styles, right? So they keep to sustain in the market. Entrepreneurs always take up the innovation, but a businessman not necessarily to have an innovation. Could you follow? Both are having the similarity, but the important is that a businessman need not, or they might not have. A businessman take up one subordinate function, but in the case of entrepreneur, they take up the entire thing, right? I think I have answered most of the questions, and now we are moving to. Yes, there is no other question. So now we are almost 55, and I hope this class was interesting to you. And next class we will see about the social entrepreneurship and government support from the entrepreneurship. And then I'm also telling you that in case if I get the question paper, we will discuss. Otherwise, see in this chapter, in this today's class, especially that I was telling you, environmental scanning, techniques. They were asking questions. Types of entrepreneurs. You have to be very careful. You have to pay doubly attention on those aspects. See when you study the types of entrepreneurship, try to differentiate, which will help you to remember. Right, I told you as in the case of fireball and juggler, try to understand the differentiation, then you will remember, right? You will not forget it. So that way you can have a hold on the subject. And then behind the every chapter they have a different questions that we will discuss in case if I don't get the question papers. Okay. And also next class I have kept small portion. Why? Because if you have a question from the first chapters also, we will discuss it. I hope that this way, this protocol will be useful. If you have any changes, if you want any other way, I can teach you. that I will consider your point also. Is that okay for everyone? That next class I will give you a small recap, and then we will talk about this social entrepreneurship and governmental support for entrepreneurs, and then we will also talk about question related to entrepreneurship. And if you have any doubt related to the overall subject that we will discuss, so it will be useful for you to get a clarification from the overall subject, because next session will be our sixth class of our crash course. Then it will be done with, right? And then again and again I'm telling you, today I have not repeated, again and again I'm telling, at least once you go through the subject before going for the examination, which will be very helpful. And thank you so much for all the students, and for your cooperation. And thank you. Sir, can we end up the session? Sir, can we end up the session? Thank you, thank you. Thank you for your compliments, Mohammed, and a lot of other people. Thank you. I have come from Surat, because now I have come to my hometown. So I am on a quarantine. I'm very safe, and thank you for your concern, Samir Mishra. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Can we end up the session? I think 2 o'clock I will end up. Bye. See you next session, Wednesday, 11:45. Thank you so much. Bye, bye, bye. Take care, all of you. And please go through once the subject material. Thank you, Ankita. Bye, 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 bye. Where is the question answer? Please, third level markets of third level market research. I think I have answered Akash. Akash K, I have answered, because third level market research is a combination of primary and secondary, and specifically for a trader's perspective and all, right? Primary and all. Okay, bye, 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 bye.